Hey, step into my office real quick here. I don't think I could, even if I tried, pay $1 million and get a better office or a bigger office than I've got right now, right here. Speaking of Singapore and how they've got a net loss of population, it doesn't surprise me, and I think that it's exemplary of what's going on around the world, which is contrary to the storyline that's being told to millions and millions of people.
Expats head for the exit as I wouldn't call it easy Singapore COVID controls bite. Of course, it did say they bite. So actually, a few years ago, we considered going to Singapore. It's just had a lot of advantages to it. It's a city-state. It's got a lot of things going for it, and you don't have to live in the most expensive part of the city. Besides that, this article is talking about how the net population flow has been outflow, which is amazing because you see all this information, all these videos about where to go, looking for love in all the wrong places. People are exiting and leaving, and what you're seeing in this article, I think what's notable is that people are not just that they're leaving Singapore. Singapore actually lost population. How is that going to sit for their retirement issues? I should say their collective retirement issues. I've talked about how you really have to, as they say, when you read these articles, read them with a grain of salt, because there's somebody somewhere has got some sort of slant. And in this one, it was slanting it to make it sound as if the reason why there was a net flow is because the workers couldn't back in. Excuse me, that's exactly the point. They couldn't back in because silly, I have to be careful with my descriptive language, but these kinds of regulations don't work. They backfire. It's just the unintended consequences of having the appearance of trying to do something good for people. That's debatable. As I met a person once, every time I said something, that's debatable. And well, okay, yeah, just about everything's debatable, but if there's an ongoing debate at the moment, then that's your little clue that maybe we should branch out and look around for other information on the subject. And so they're expecting a net outflow again this year. So they had a net outflow ever since 2020. Things haven't looked pretty. But what's also interesting is that the people are where they're going. Like this American guy went back to America. Some other people, I don't think they were original. Another couple I was talking about, they weren't originally from England, but they went back to England. Perhaps they had some kind of ties there. But it's interesting where they're going. But yeah, people leaving Singapore, we see a lot of information out there about let's go here, let's go there. And I think that the truth is starting to trickle out, and you start seeing a little trickle. But I wouldn't expect the truth to come out in articles, although eventually you're going to start seeing some articles. So we'll try to cover some of this information. We like to have the article just so at least there is a source there. But yeah, net outflow, I think a lot of places can say they have a lot of, ever since 2020 have had net outflows. And that's, of course, counterproductive to all of the things that cultures and countries are typically trying to do, which is trying to invite people in. And because it's good for the economy, it's good for business, and it's good for everybody all the way around.
Hey, step into my office real quick here. I don't think I could, even if I tried, pay $1 million and get a better office or a bigger office than I've got right now, right here. Speaking of Singapore and how they've got a net loss of population, it doesn't surprise me, and I think that it's exemplary of what's going on around the world, which is contrary to the storyline that's being told to millions and millions of people in the vlogosphere. It just flies right in the face of what people are seeing and being told from people in this space. And it's a place where people were going, and now they have a net loss, and they're predicting 2 years in a row. And as long as this thing keeps going, it's like we made other videos about this subject that you can look for in the video library. But it's interesting that the article had 3 different examples, and 2 out of 3 examples, the people went to North America. They went home to North America. And the other one went to England, which I don't know, there's something about those 3 stories that 2 of them went to America, 1 went to England. Out of all places they could have gone, they went back home. You have to read these articles with a grain of salt, because there's always some sort of whitewashing on some level. A lot of times you can see the whole article is basically pretty good, but then they'll have that one little thing in there in the whole article that is just whitewash. And the article's slanting, making it sound as if, well, it's just the worker population that can't travel. What is that supposed to mean? People are people, and people aren't coming because of the restrictions. I would say that it makes no difference what the reason that people are going, because different people have different reasons, but the idea here was that it was a net plus migration inflow, and that has turned negative. So I think what they're trying to say, here's what they're doing. They're trying to appease the money interests, and they're trying to make it sound like, oh, don't worry, if you're a wealthy expat, don't worry, the wealthy ones aren't leaving, it's just the working class. That's what it was trying to do. And it failed at it miserably, because the people in the very example in the article, the very examples they used in the article were wealthy expats.
Well, they go there and work.
Well, some do, and then you have others that, for example, this particular example of these wealthy expats, they weren't able to go visit family, and they just had a child and somebody's granddaughter and this kind of thing, and they could, because of the restrictions, they can't come back and forth and this kind of thing. So net migration, net outflow, and I would venture to say that I'm sure that Singapore is not the only place that's seeing it. All right, hope you got something out of that. Thanks for coming to the channel. Have a wonderful day.